Good morning, thriving warriors and those who wish they were. Alexa, what's the date? Alexa, what is the date? Try this again. Alexa, what is the date?
It's Sunday, October 9th.
Great. And Alexa, what time is it?
It's 6:28 a.m. Hope you're having a good weekend, Edward.
Thank you. Hello. Morning.
Okay, no UAs for us.
Okay. Thanks.
Okay.
Bye.
All right.
Aha. No UAs this morning. Okay, cool. Great. There we go. And Alexa, what is the weather forecast?
Currently, in Amargosa Valley, it's 58 degrees Fahrenheit with clear skies. Today, you can expect mostly sunny weather with a high of 88 degrees and a low of 55 degrees.
Okay. First day under 90 degrees. The cold starts. All righty then. Okay, so here we are. Department of Career Services. I gotta put this coffee down and read our morning little thing just to make it faster to save time. So, this is Career Services Department. Our goal is to help you get from point A to point B, where point B is better. You're at A, we want to help you get to point B. And how do we do that? Well, we do it several ways. One is this podcast, like little breadcrumbs, bleep, 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 easy to follow to get there. Also in the podcast, in the notes down below, please do what? Charlene?
Click on subscribe.
Subscribe and what? Click on the bell so you get notifications of our thing. So in the notes down below, we have a link to our 4-week basic training course. We have a link to the motivational video that I used, and today's was very, very, very good. I suggest you use it. This little 10-minute-ish sort of, but not really, podcast is just to entice you to learn more. It's not the end, it's the beginning. We have a link to a video for today's basic training course. Today is Father Robert Spitzer, SJ, talking about being angry with God. That's kind of an interesting one. It goes under leadership, self-control. And let's see, we have some other links down below for services we provide that have to do with housing, food, clothing, hygiene, transportation, skills training, foundational employment, and career planning. They're all available to you. You just need to take advantage of it. We don't have the ability to force you to do anything. These are things that are available to you, and the telephone numbers are down below. And finally, and yet there's more, and we have the transcript of Seth Godin's blog post. So make sure you have a pen and paper. You have to write this stuff down, or the goal is to remember it. Our brains are designed to not remember things. Our brains are designed to forget about 75% of what we learned in the previous 24 hours. So you're not really going to remember any of the details. You're just going to remember how you felt maybe about this. But if you write it down, every time you make a copy, you hear it, you see it, you say it, you make another. Every time you hear it, see it, say it, you make another copy in your brain. And when you write things, that's like making 5 copies right there. But we don't need to get into that part. The podcasts are like a trail of breadcrumbs. Bleep, 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 as Professor Nancy Kane, who's a proponent and supporter of our program, would say. Okay, breathe. Okay, next. What is our approach? What is the approach to the breadcrumbs? How do we know how to lay the breadcrumbs out? Or how do we think about laying the breadcrumbs out? We use an approach of it's simple, ... Just one little breadcrumb a day. It's simple. Our approach is one little breadcrumb a day. It's simple. Today's breadcrumb is it's simple. Stay hungry. Stay hungry. What happens when you're hungry? Charlene, what happens in life when you're hungry?
You're seeking to get food.
Yeah, right. Exactly. You go after the food. What becomes front of mind for you?
Well, maybe get
Getting
some
food.
money.
Well,
Yeah.
getting food, right?
Yeah.
That's front of mind. I need food. What follows that? Oh, how do I get food?
Right.
Is there food in the kitchen? Is there food here? Is there food there? Oh, maybe I need money. Maybe I need to go to the store. But what's driving you?
Hungry.
Hunger. Yeah, being hungry. So stay hungry. Don't become complacent. How do you know if you're complacent? Well, one way is you wake up and you're bored. Another way is you have time to do anything anybody asks you to do. Little things like that. So today's simple thing, stay hungry. You can picture yourself where you want to be. And then if you believe it, you can and will go after it. At around 4 minutes and 30 seconds, there's a long minute thing there about staying hungry, the benefits of staying hungry, which I did not transcribe, but I have my paper and pen and paper. Carefully aim at something. Jordan Peterson says, carefully aim at something and the world will shape itself around that. Another important thought from here is at 8 minutes and 10 seconds into the video, your feelings, behavior, and thoughts are always a choice. Do you agree with that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So some people believe they're controlled by their feelings, their behavior, and their thoughts, that those control them. Actually, they're always a choice. And this goes back to Viktor Frankel. Do you remember anything about Viktor Frankel?
Yeah.
Like what?
That he had meaning and purpose when he was in the concentration camp.
Yeah, he found that.
So it kept him alive.
Good. Good. So one of the things, an attitude he had was that the Nazis could take everything from him, including his life, except for one thing, which was what?
His reaction.
Yeah, how he chose to respond to that. That was his and his alone. So our feelings, our behavior, and our thoughts are always a choice. And that goes into Stoicism in terms of the first premise, which is what?
Power perceived as power.
No, that's the first law of power. But Stoicism, the first premise is there are things.
You can't control?
Yeah, there are things I can control and things I can't control. I don't let the things I can't control bother me because what?
You can't control it.
Because I can't control them. Why let it bother me? Well, what can I control? My feelings, my behavior, and my thoughts. Okay, all right, next. Okay, TED Talk. TED Talk. Okay, so today's TED Talk, and following the theme of this week, this is the last day of week 4 in our program, our basic training course. Last day, last week, day 7, week 4. And today's video is from Robert Spitzer, S.J., Jesuit. Robert Spitzer was the president of Gonzaga University. Now he's at Magis Institute. He is one of the intellectual Jesuits, one of the philosopher, scientist Jesuits that would debate Stephen Hawking when he was alive regarding the universe. But that's not the topic for today. Father Spitzer's topic for today is if you are angry at God. Are you really angry at God, or are you just lashing out? So that's a good one. And let's see, Seth Godin. Let's see what Seth Godin has to say today. The Invisibility Paradox. The Invisibility Paradox. Not paradise, not paradise, not paradise. Paradox. So what's a dox? This is a pair of them.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's a pair of doxes out there, not parade ox. It's not a parade of oxes. Okay, it's a paradox, not a pair of dogs, like shoes or pants, docs
Right.
or Doc Martens.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, do you have a paradox?
I do.
You do have a paradox.
Yes.
Okay, I've got a paradox, but that's not this paradox. This is a different paradox. This is DOX, not DOC, apostrophe S. Okay, the optic nerve dominates. It's piped directly into our brains and uses a lot of processing power to help us discern the world through vision. As a result, it's louder than our other senses and often outshouts the rest of our brain. That's why it's easy to be fooled by a magician. This focus on sight means that we often are at a loss on how to deal with things that are invisible. As Lucy would do. It works in our favor with the paradox effect. Oops, sorry. Rewind a little bit. It works in our favor with the placebo effect. We can see that we just swallowed a pill or wore a brace or bought an expensive bottle of wine. That input helps us heal or enjoy the moment, even if the organic, invisible things behind the scenes don't quite match what we saw. Right. And it works against us when it's time for our community to process things that are invisible over time, like evolution or systems change, or invisible in the moment, like viruses and greenhouse gases. When there's a conflict between what we know and what we see, we often default to the wrong one, which is what we see. Yes, so when he's talking here about a bottle of wine, or bought an expensive bottle of wine. They've done studies of putting people in an fMRI machine, having them sipping on wine, describing the wine, showing them the bottle of the wine, and looking at what's going on in their brain while they're tasting the wine. And what do you think happens when people are having expensive wine?
Dopamine goes up?
Yeah, they perceive it's expensive wine. And then on the other hand, when they have them sipping on wine and they show them pictures of metal vats instead of oak casks, instead of a cave, it's in a refrigerated, sterilized building, and it's a very cheap bottle with a cheap label and a screw top on it. And how do you think people perceive the flavor of the wine?
That it's not as good.
It's not as good, right? And in their brain, the neural activity looks different, right? Does that make sense?
Yes.
Well, the problem is it's exactly the same wine. So when they do the test, it's not a great wine, it's not a bad wine, it's just a wine. But what people believe based upon what they see and taste, mainly what they see from what they read or what the pictures that are there, their brain perceives that it's a better wine, and their brain perceives that the other wine doesn't taste as good, even though it's exactly the same wine. So to his point that what we see has, what did he say? As a result, the louder senses, it often outshouts the rest of our brain. That's why it's easy to be fooled by a magician. So it's not what you taste, it's not what your senses perceive in terms of the flavor of the wine. It's what your eyes tell your brain about the wine that determines how good the wine is. Okay? Power perceived is power achieved. And so what Seth Godin is telling us that perception is mainly through vision.
Wow.
Not through this, not through this, not through this, point A, point B, not through that, right? So, okay, thank you, Seth Godin. Let's see what our notes say now. What's next? Okay, Seth Godin. Okay, the threes. This is kind of a new thing we have, the three things to think about, but this is actually 6 words that has to do with stay hungry, sort of. Proper planning prevents piss poor performance. Proper planning prevents piss poor performance. Plan your day, work your plan. Plan your work, work your plan. Plan your work, work your plan. That's all you need to do. Have a vision, have a goal, then do it. Okay. Lastly, Navy SEALs maxim, which is what, Charlene?
Yesterday was the only easy day.
Correct. Yesterday was the only easy day. What does that mean about today?
Just push ourselves a little bit more today than we did yesterday.
Yeah, just push ourselves a little bit more today than yesterday. And over time, well, how does that look?
You gradually improve.
Yeah, it looks like improvement, which if we go back to Seth Godin, he says, vision, what we see, works against us when things take time. So, and that kind of goes to a Steve Jobs thing. If you can't see the breadcrumbs looking forward, you can only see them looking back. It's incremental little steps. Climb, 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 climb. Look back. Holy cow. Wow, I've really gone a long way. But on a daily basis, it really doesn't seem like much.
Right.
And that's okay, right? That's
Right.
okay. So we have 4 steps on how to make yesterday was the only easy day. One is what?
Get comfortable being uncomfortable.
Get comfortable being uncomfortable. 2, don't compare yourself to others. Compare yourself to who you were. So to make yesterday the only easy day, think of what did I do yesterday? What do I need to do today that's a little bit more than that? What were my shortcomings? What are the things I could have done better? What are the things that I did good that I could repeat? Because we want to keep forward motion, not random forward movement, forward motion, not randomness. Okay, so get comfortable being uncomfortable. Don't compare yourself to other people. What's another way? Have a goal. If I have a goal, that goal is going to pull me towards it. So that could make yesterday the only easy day, right? I have this goal out there and it's pulling me towards it. And if I keep going towards it, yesterday will be the only easy day. And the last thing, the last way to make yesterday was the only easy day was to do what? Be more samurai. Right, be more samurai. And for us, what does that mean?
Work to perfection, given the time and resources.
Yeah, try it. Whatever you're doing, stay focused and try to do it as perfectly as possible given the time and resources that you have. So if you have to go rake a pile of rocks and you have 10 minutes to do it, it should look perfect given the 10 minutes and the rake that you have. If you have half an hour, how should it look? Same or better?
Perfect according to.
Well, it should look better than if you have 10 minutes, right? What a lot of people do, what most people do, with the default setting, segue, David Foster Wallace default setting. What the default setting for a lot of people is they have a vision in their brain what they want it to look like. If they have 10 minutes to do it, they work faster than if they have 30 minutes. It's going to look the same.
Oh, wow.
Versus I want this to be as perfect as I can make it within 10 minutes. Or I want it to be as perfect as it can be and I have 30 minutes to do it. So most people I got 30 minutes to rake this out. Okay, cool. I'll go at this pace. Versus to maintain the pace I have at 10 minutes for 30 minutes. What if I did that? What if I had my 10-minute pace, but I did it for 30 minutes, not 10?
Right, look better.
Yeah. Then if I had, here's how I want it to look, and I've got 30 minutes to do that. If I have 30 minutes to do it, I'm going to be taking a break, working slow. Oh, I need some water. Oh, I don't like this song. I'm going to stop and take a break and change the song. I'm going to go for a little walk. I'm going to take my gloves off. I'm going to put my gloves back on. If you have 10 minutes, do you do that?
No.
No, you just work 10 minutes. Imagine if you do that. Okay, so that's the Navy SEALs. Yesterday was the only easy day. How can we do it? But under getting comfortable being uncomfortable, there are 3 things on that too. What's one of them?
Take the harder path.
Choose the hard path. And under that, there's 6 things that you can do: humility, hard work, take ownership, take responsibility, have discipline, keep doing it, and sacrifice. That's how you take the hard path. Embrace the suck. Okay, it sucks trying to make yesterday the only easy day. Embrace it. Remind yourself there's a billion people who would love doing what you're doing. Another thing you can say is, well, would I rather do this thing that sucks or be in the Colosseum in Rome 2,000 years ago, showing up for a sign that said all Christians come to the Colosseum today for entertainment, where you're the entertainment and what's happening.
The lions are trying to get you.
Right. Would you rather be doing what you feel sucks or be in the Roman Colosseum? Would you rather be doing what you feel sucks or be in prison? Would you rather do what you feel sucks or be in a Nazi concentration camp? All of a sudden, it doesn't really suck, right? Okay. It's like, oh yeah, it should take 0.68 seconds to do that. So embrace the suck, choose the hard path, and accept the struggle. It's just part of it. It makes you better. So with that, wow, we're new record, 14 minutes and 12 seconds. Philip Camacho, good morning. Oh, this is Diana. Good morning, Diana. Anxious to hear how things are going. And we are going to say cut. Cut. And cut.